sometimes don't realize how important daily routines are in a child's development. It could be for speech or for physical activity or anything along those lines. Kelly Casper is with Red Door Pediatric Therapy, and she's joining us this morning to discuss that. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for being with us on such a chilly day. We were talking to Kelly during the commercial break and asked her if it's so hot in Minot as well, and she said, oh yeah, it's pretty warm up there too. So
Sweating.
it's never easy to get out and about on a morning like this. Let's talk about that. How daily routines are important for a child's development. Give me an overview on that, if you would, please.
Sure, there are quite a few ways why I like to recommend to my parents to target concepts through daily routines. First being that it allows that learning experience for the child to happen naturally because they're linking the new vocabulary that they're hearing to what is happening in that moment. So it makes it a lot more meaningful to that child. And then it also helps with generalization of skills. So instead of working on something in my speech room and then having to learn it again in the context in which we use that language, they're able to learn in the moment when they will need to use that vocabulary. And then second, our routines are super repetitive and predictable. They know what is going to happen each time they go to get dressed or each time they eat a meal or take a bath. So instead of worrying about what's going to come next, they can really focus on the language that they're hearing and makes it a really good educational opportunity. And then third, the language that we use in our routines are super functional for kids. It's vocabulary that they need to know to communicate their wants and their needs, which also makes it motivating. They want to know how to request for that juice. They want to know how to request what they want. And then finally, parents are super duper busy. They don't have time to always sit down and work on things with their kids. So by incorporating it into things that they're already doing, it's a really good time saver for parents too.
Gotcha. So when you have a kid on a routine, you might think that they're just hearing the same language over and over, but is this a good way for them to incorporate new words into what they already know?
Absolutely, yeah. Not only are you just labeling different items that they're seeing, you can compare and contrast, talk about the texture, talk about how things feel. You can really target so many different language concepts within daily routines, not just labeling different things.
Okay, let's talk about encouraging the child to become active in these kind of things. Tell me how important that is.
Sure, it's super important for kids to become an active participant in order to learn. When they are involved and hands on, it makes that learning experience a lot more rich and it makes them a lot more motivating for the kids. So instead of just handing your child the juice or putting their shirt on, making them involved in that and having them help you with that is going to promote that language.
Gotcha. And in the packet you gave us, you talk about modeling language appropriately for the child. So what does that mean and how do you do that?
Yeah, so there's a lot of simple techniques that we use in speech pathology to model language. Um, Instead of just talking and talking and talking, I like to say to keep your models super short, keep it at the level of their child. So instead of saying 6 to 10 words, if your child is only saying one word, then model a 2 word phrase, just expanding on their utterance. So if your child says ball, instead of saying, oh yeah, I see a blue ball and blah, 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 talking, just take what they said, take that ball and add one simple word, blue ball, and see if they can imitate that extra word within your utterance.
One of the other things, Kelly, that you talk about is be careful of asking too many questions. Now, to me, it always seems like questions will lead to conversation or more, interaction. But you're saying there is a danger in asking too many questions. Why is that?
Yeah, questions are great, but sometimes if the child doesn't know the vocabulary to that answer, if they don't know how to respond to your question, then it's not necessarily the best language strategy. So if you do ask a question and they don't know, make sure that you're modeling that answer so they start to learn how to answer the questions.
Gotcha. So routines are great and they're definitely doable, but sometimes you have to break the routine. So are there any ways that we can help with language development on those days where you have to break that routine?
Yeah, actually, breaking routines are great because when they are super predictable, the child knows what's going to come next. So if you do something that's a little bit out of the ordinary, they'll notice that that's not how we usually do it. And then they'll be tempted to say something and communicate to you, like, what's going on? Why did we change that up? So that's a really great way to promote communication from the child.
One of the things that you had given us in the material that you shared with us, and I'm not sure if you touched on it or not, but talking about giving your child choices. What are you talking about there? Are we talking dinner choices, or what kind of choices are you talking about?
Yeah, any kind of choices that you can offer. By giving them a choice and providing that model of language allows them to communicate to you what you want. So instead of just giving them the blue shirt and making them wear that, if you say, do you want to wear a blue shirt or a green shirt? That'll create that opportunity for the child to use his language to communicate to you, oh, I want to wear a green shirt today, instead of just putting the shirt on and then really there's no opportunity for that language there.
There you go. That makes
Gotcha.
sense. Kelly, where do we get a hold of Red Door Pediatric Therapy?
You can find us on our website, reddoorpediatric.com.
All right, Kelly Casper, Red Door Pediatric Therapy. Thank you so much for being with us. Great topic.
Yep, and stay
Thank
with
you
us.
guys.
Thank you. Stay with us. North Dakota Today continues right after this.